Howdy, hi. It's late, so I'm gonna try to keep it quiet. But I wanted to get this done today. I ended up sleeping pretty late today, and then cleaning most of the day, because it was my day off and I needed to clean the house. So that's what I did. Now I am enjoying a beer. And I'm chilling out for the evening, but I wanted to do this. I feel like my roommate's gonna yell at me for being awake right now. Not awake, but for talking. But as long as I stay quiet, it should be fine. Should be fine. Any more? One more chance. One more. Okay. I hope that you are feeling well. I hope that you've had a good weekend, that you're having a good day, whatever. I say weekend. I have no idea when you're watching this. It's probably not going to be the weekend since it's already almost the end of it. So I hope you're having a good whatever it is for you. That you're enjoying yourself, that you're making the most, that you're finding a good balance between, your input and output, between your work, your self-care, your personal enjoyment, the way that you're caring for others. All of those things, they're finding a good balance between them. And, yeah. Oh, I hope everything is going well for you. I feel like this week is going to be interesting. Right now I'm getting a vibe of it being a little rough, feeling a little tedious, perhaps, like it's going to feel like, or it will be feeling like, or it's already feeling like, like that part of the job that, like, it isn't the beginning, it isn't the end, it isn't even like a definitive middle, it's just like the laborsome, what's the word I'm thinking of, like, what's the word? Like when it's like that tediousness that's like when it starts getting to feel not even like you're at the end of the rope necessarily, but like it's almost like, when will I even get to the end of the rope, right? Like, because when you're at the end of your own rope, like that's almost a time where you can start to feel like an opportunity of change. I do feel change coming, for sure. But I feel like maybe there's this energy of just kind of like having to kind of bear down and long suffer through whatever the timing is. Now, I've felt that way myself recently, but I also recognize that I tend to feel things and process them a little bit before they seem to happen for the rest of the collective. And it almost like, to me, I've always taken it as like the universe kind of blessing me because it knows that I'm slow. So it's like letting me like start to experience things prior to others experiencing it, just so that I can process around the same time everybody else is. But actually this morning I was reminded that largely in part the reason I'm so slow is actually just because I'm strategic, and that what I am doing is essentially not just watching myself from a different perspective, but I'm also watching others and giving space for everything to fall into place. I'm also giving a space for people to engage with my actions in a way that lets me recognize their reactions and responses, and then I can respond to that. But then I'm not being too terribly preemptive because I am cautious and because I am wise, really. Not like in some arrogant way, but like the idea was that, playing chess instead of checkers, where it's like not just one move after another, and it's already like kind of preset out that way. There's a lot more different opportunities, and like there's an awareness that like there's only so many choices that somebody could make, but at the same time it's always kind of an open board. And in that way, like, you want to give a space in order for people to be able to kind of prove themselves and show themselves, so that before you make any final decisions. Also, like, so I've been in that space then now recently, that I'm seeing me now have to move into a space where like it's like, okay, now I'm aware, so I kind of know what direction I'm headed, but I'm going to be kind of having to do certain work in order to lay out certain foundations as the week progresses. So it may feel a little tedious, it may feel a little monotonous is the word I was looking for earlier, but it's with purpose. And I may not necessarily see the rewards of that right away, but what it's moving me into is a space of receiving some genuine reward, for sure. So yeah, so that's where I'm at when it comes to that, and that's what energy that I'm feeling. So if that resonates with you, don't rush yourself. Be patient with yourself for sure, and give yourself, time to just enjoy yourself. But also do the thing. Like if there's something that you've been putting off, if there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, and you just haven't been doing it, do it. Do it. It's good to do it. It's not only good to do it, we're in a keyhole period right now. If you're watching this, it's like the beginning of December time. It's the going into the second week of December. And as we move into the solstice, which I think is at the end of next week, something like that, maybe the beginning of the following week, we're moving into a period. It's beautiful. I was so excited. I woke up excited about it actually today, which is strange, but today felt like a holiday for me. It felt like a celebration. It felt like a celebration today of the light, of opportunity, of what the future holds. And it's very good that way. But there's also, we're moving in through this period of embracing winter. And so it's kind of like there's a death in that way too. Now, I'm a Scorpio, so death doesn't bother me. It is me. I am death. But it also, like, I mean, to me, it's a transition, and it's something very beautiful, and it's exciting for me, to see how things make their exit, and then what makes an entrance afterwards. I love that, and we're kind of right in that little period. The death has actually already happened. Actually, what we're in the period of right now is almost like this mourning of the death that has happened, an embracing of it, and an embracing of the transition into life without that thing and what comes after that. For a lot of people, that might be intimidating, or maybe they're just not on it yet. Like I said, like a lot of times I find that, the things that I feel and am processing, especially on like a spiritual level, are actually a little bit like before their time. In the sense that like after I've learned it, then I find that like it starts to become just like the normal thing. where suddenly now everybody is doing it. And like I said, like generally that always came from, or it always made me feel like it's because I'm so dense. So like everybody else, like they figure it out pretty quick. But the universe is like always giving me that little extra time to process because I'm dense. I'm dense. It has to go through a lot. I got a lot going on in here. So like my experience has to go through a lot in order to get deeper in. So I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that whatever I'm talking about right now, and whatever I'm talking about right now, I don't quite know yet, but it is. Some people might get it. If it resonates with you right off the bat, then know that you're not only on the right path, but you're like a little bit ahead of the game. You're part of what is crafting a new path. You're part of like those like charging forward in order to create the space that others get to come through. And take that with pride, but also like don't take it as about yourself, because really what we're doing is we're doing this for those that come after us. So there's a balance there. And if it doesn't fully resonate with you, but you still choose to watch all of it, or whatever you do choose to watch, like let that, understand that like I'm talking about something that is just yet to become. It's coming. It's on its way. It'll be here very shortly. So you can take it as a preparation. That's what I'm here to do. Is prepare people. So by all means, yeah, take it as that. But also, recognize that like you and I may not be on the same path or in the same timeline, at least same path. If it resonates with you, then it's like same path but different timeline, and that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be at this point in time. But if it doesn't fully resonate with you, or it just doesn't seem to make sense to you, then kind of just like let it go to your subconscious. Your subconscious is receiving everything whether you want it to or not. But don't worry about it. Don't like try to take it personal. Don't try to make more of it than what it may be. Don't like start worrying about anything or anything like that. Kind of just like forget about it. It'll come to you at some point. There's something else that you're supposed to be putting your energy into right now. There's something else for you right at this moment. And you're not being called to push forward and like craft a new path. It's being crafted for you. There's people being sent out before you to craft it so that you don't have to craft it. You can just walk it. I myself am in that position as well. But that's because there's people that are before me that have gone out before me, right? And I'm clearing the path myself behind them. And you will be doing the same. But what it's for you right now is to, like, you can't even do that without the right equipment, without the right skills, without the right experiences. It doesn't make anybody else greater than you or any different. It's just a matter of time. And if right now isn't your time, that's okay, because it is coming. It's coming very shortly. And even as I say that, like, I've been so excited because, like, I'm also in that space, but also, like, as I'm saying this, like, I'm getting this energy that I'm actually, like, right now is my time. Right now is my time. And I don't know exactly what that's supposed to look like. I'm just embracing it. But we're talking, like, when I say time, like, it's not just like, here's a day for you, and it's going to be one good day, and then everything goes back to shit. Like, that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about, like, a whole new time being set for you to thrive, for you to be able to come into your own, for you to receive your just rewards for things. It just made me think about, I've been married and separated. My ex-husband found somebody else that he wanted to be with. He never actually really wanted to be with me, to be honest. And we separated. That's long story short. But the day that we got married, like I remember both of us not actually even being terribly happy about it. But the day that we got married, I remember just like, I'd been up all night crying and feeling some type of way. Really didn't want to go through with it. And then on that day, like I kept just like people were like, kept like trying to serve me, kept like trying to like, okay, what can we do? Like this. Now, I didn't have a wedding. I got married in a courthouse. I'd spent all of, I guess it was $125 to get married. I spent $50 on the wedding, on the marriage license, and I spent, my grandma had given me $75 to get everything that I wore. I got a dress and like nylons and shoes and a little hair clip, all from Burlington Coat Factory. And that was all the money I put into it. That was everything I put into it. But I remember like everybody, like my mom and my sister-in-law and my grandma, my other grandma who was there, just being like, you know, just like they just kept like trying to do things for me and stuff. And I remember being like nobody has ever treated me like that. Like nobody's ever like catered to me, and it was really awkward. And I remember being like, okay, like why, like quit, you're making me uncomfortable. Like why are you guys being like this? And my mom was like, because it's your day. And I was like, it isn't my day, it's our day. This is a day for both me and my soon-to-be husband. Like, don't make this all about me. And she was like, no, you don't understand. Like, you're getting married. After today, your entire life is about him. It's not about you anymore. So, like, this is your day. Because this is the last day. It's all about you. And I remember, like, being like, the fuck? Like, why wasn't I told this sooner? Had I known that this was my day. Also, like, you're telling me that everything's been about me at all up until now? And that today's supposed to be the last day that it's about me? I did not get that memo. At all. My entire relationship revolved around him. That was, you know, probably why he left. I mean, it was what it needed to be. Both of us are better people for it. But, like, that relationship was never about me. At all. He cheated on me the entire time he was with me. He got his dick sucked every day. Like, that dude didn't give a fuck about me. Okay, so it's not getting your dick sucked every day doesn't mean that you give a fuck about me. I would happily suck your dick every day if you showed some appreciation. Obviously, I had to do it even without the appreciation, but I need more. Now I have morals and standards. Now I want to be appreciated. But I just remember that feeling of today's your day. And, like, it being like, this is my day. This is my day, the day that I choose to take somebody else's name and commit the rest of my life to somebody. Like, that can't be right. And what the energy that I'm feeling as I was saying these things is like, that's not what's being talked about. It's not this promise that, like, your day is going to come. You'll have your day. It's not like that. It's not going to be like that. Trust me, I've already done that thing. And that's not what the universe is trying to give me. That isn't even what the universe was trying to give me the first time. But that's definitely not where we're at now. So something very good is coming to those who love good. So, you know, don't fret. Don't worry about anything. Just do whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep doing it. That's what we're doing this week. We're just keeping doing it. We're keeping our energy high. We're keeping our hearts straight. You know, we're keeping our shit. well. And we're just doing the thing because that's where we're at. That's what we got going on right now. Like I said, it may feel monotonous. It may feel like it may feel like a little bit of a struggle because it feels like what's the point of this? Or like, oh, I'm so tired of this. I already felt that like that this past week. I know that this week is going to feel differently for me, but I'm getting the energy that that's the energy that people are going to be moving through. So I don't know who this is for. I don't know who this is for. Because that's not the energy that I'm in. But I will happily give this for whoever it does resonate with, and I hope that it serves you well. Okay. I pulled 2 oracle cards, and I'm going to read these. I also pulled 2 tarot to go with them. And I'm going to read them and then get other tarot to go with it, I suppose. Just to show you that this is where we're at. That's what it looks like. Okay. So, I have, interestingly enough, we have humidity in the reverse. Now, I just had that card come out in a recent reading, my moist reading. But it was in the upright, so now it's in the reverse. Give me a totally different vibe. And truth. Trunk. I read it as truth. It's trunk, obviously. And I've already had this card before too, but I still read it as truth. But it's trunk in the reverse. But I read it as truth. Give me a second. Okay, so we're talking about a lie. We're talking about a misconception, a deception of some sort that has been the core of a whole web of misconceptions. A deception that has been the trunk of a whole bunch of misconceptions, right? Like a lie somebody told that created this whole system of gossip, that created this whole network of gossip that I mean, I'm getting this impression of chaos, that it's like kind of gotten out of control. I don't even know. It's almost like, okay, yeah, like the chaos symbol is like, let me see, it's an X. It's 2 X's intertwined with each other, essentially. But essentially it's just like a whole bunch of lines. And I'm seeing it like, I need to draw a picture of what I'm seeing. Hold on. Because it's going to make more sense if I just draw it. Okay. So what I'm seeing is... Okay, so first we have this. Right? That's not exactly the chaos symbol because it's, well, it doesn't even matter, but there's multiple symbols for chaos, but this is one of them. Okay, it's got arrows. But what I'm seeing with trunk is it being like this. Like a tree, right? Same symbol, but like a tree. And we're talking about the trunk here, you know, and it's like this lie not only created all of this gossip, but it also what are the roots? It also affected the structure of something. Gossip is like very surface. Like, if I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I am not generally somebody given to it, even in the receiving of it. I'm a human being, so it's not like I'm perfect. It's not like I haven't fallen for it in different ways or that I haven't been given to it. But generally speaking, like, I don't just believe what somebody tells me about somebody else. If I haven't recognized those things for myself or seen those things for myself, I generally am not just bound to believe it. And that also really depends on the person telling me a thing, you know. But, like, even if somebody tells me, like, let's say that I have a girlfriend and she tells me that she was assaulted by a specific dude. It's not that I'm going to go, like, try to interact with that dude. I might feel some type of way. I'll set different boundaries. But, like, more the way that I handle things is, like, I'll just be there for my friend. I'll be there for my friend as best as I can. If it's a dude that I'm somehow affiliated with, I'll probably confront him. I'm forced to at that point. And, you know, depending on how he responds, like, I will still show respect for the person that feels some type of way or that experienced something. Now, but I still leave room to have those different types of things. I will explain to my friend even, you know, it's a hard one because like when it comes to assault, like I really don't want to continue to affiliating myself with anybody who has committed assaults. So like that becomes a thing where it's like, listen, if somebody even like could make it out to seem like you had committed an assault, like maybe you're not somebody I really should be spending my time with. I probably will just pull away from that person. But at the same time, I also know that like I've been assaulted. And I still know that some people feel assaulted when it wasn't actually an assault, or like some people like you know, make shit up about other people just to try to get a leg up. So, you know, I try to take things for what they're worth. I try to you know, confront things from a balanced perspective as much as possible. But, yeah, I do that. Well, I also just try to engage in a certain type of communication so that I'm not engaging in with those things. Now, when it comes to this specific lie, the thing about it is that it has roots and it also has limbs and, like, these leaves and this fruit. So, like, it was a very believable lie. Maybe it wasn't far from the truth, but it took on this whole other life. It's sprouted up a lot of different things. Some of those things are good. Ultimately, all of it can be received as good, but not all of it is true. In the same way that, like, you know, a lot of these leaves are going to end up just dying and falling off of the tree, and they're not really real. But the lie itself, it's a lie. So, like, it's created its own ecosystem, and it's made it very believable to a lot of people that may not have otherwise been given to such gossip. The card that I have that came out that I put next to it, just two cards came out and I just put them down. I wasn't really paying attention, but this card is the Nine of Swords in reverse, and, you know, normally in the upright it's a sign of like despair, of discomfort, of not being able to sleep at night because one's so worried. It's like a very anxious card. In the reverse, I'm getting this idea that, like, well, one, in the reverse, you can see that the top of it has this checkerboard. Like I was just talking about playing chess instead of checkers, right? It could easily be a chessboard too. But I see it as a checkerboard. And person that's in it is in despair. But in the reverse, it's that, like, that's not actually, it's not giving this person anxiety. Like, it's slightly set off. So I'm not saying that it's actually the lie. It's a reflection of what the lie was set out to do, which was, like, put somebody in a state of anxiety, make somebody feel despair. It was this sense of, like, this checkerboard game where it's like, you did this, so now I'm going to do this. And then you did this, so then I'm going to do this. And that is what made this lie believable. Because it's almost like for every limb, there's a root. And so it really speaks on a person's, like, identity. And so those people, so, like, people that, like, only know that person on the surface believe the lie. Because it seems valid. But that's because people don't actually know this person fully. Where, like, the deeper you go, the deeper you go, I have something for the deeper you go, the more connections that you find, the more, this is like a celebration. The deeper that you go, the more that, like, other people become involved, and it starts to broaden and widen. It starts to take on this other, kind of even more about the deeper you go, not just the roots, because I see what's being said with that card. I want to know about what happens the deeper this lie goes. The Five of Cups in the reverse. I mean, I'm still seeing what that. Hold on, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so what I'm getting out of all these cards, I'll show you again how I have it set up right now. I have these two at the roots of this tree. The tree's in the reverse, and it comes out to this, right? Okay. So with this Nine of Swords, I'm getting that, like, this is what the person who crafted the lie is trying to act like, when this is the energy they're actually in. So they're trying to act like they're in despair, and like they're so anxious and they're so hurt, and they have to be on the defense. They don't even know how to handle this, and they don't understand why this is happening. And, you know, they're trying to act innocent in all of this. And, like, even this person, like, the way that they have their face covered, like, goes into this card where, like, you can see this person with their face kind of covered, too. It's the same person. It actually looks very similar. They have the same hair and the way that they have their face covered. But this person, what I noticed about this card, and these cards are weird because they're, like, pretty much just a copy of the Rider-Waite, only they're kind of poorly copied. The colors are pretty, though. But, like, this, it's not just that they have their head down past their shoulder. Like, it's not just like this, where they have their head down. It's that they have their shoulder up like this. And they're kind of like this. It's turned. But I notice that the shoulder is up and they're kind of like this. And that's giving me just this, like, what I thought of when I saw it. Like, my mom used to do this thing. Like, it was just part of her body language. I remember that always really, like, bothered me. Just because she would always do this thing where, like, when she was frustrated, when she'd get really mad, and it was more like when she'd, like, get irritated, right? When she'd get irritated because, like, she's not feeling in control. She has anxiety, but when she would start to get super anxious, before she'd start acting crazy, she would do this thing where, like, her shoulders would get real high. She'd clench her teeth. And, like, she'd do this thing, and that's just what I got, that impression where it's like, oh, like, I'm starting, and she'd do this thing. Like, you'd see her do this. And she'd be like, I'm starting to get a type of way. And, anytime you'd see that, like, I already knew, like, that's when things are starting to get away. And so it's giving me that feeling of, like, you know, and plus, like, okay, so in this Five of Cups card, this person is looking at these 3 cups, and there's these 2 cups that are still standing, right? So it's like, well, because it's next to the other card that came out with the roots is this 3 of Cups. So it's like they're looking at these 3 cups, and they're spilt over, right? And they're looking like, oh, I'm so sad because these 3 cups are spilt. And they're, like, not even paying attention to these 2 cups because these three cups are spilled. And they're feeling so sad about it. But, like, in reality, in the reverse, what I'm seeing is that this person is actually getting irritated just because they're not feeling in control. But, like, at the same time, it was giving this illusion, like, to the 3 of Cups in the upright, that the three cups aren't actually spilled. Not only are they not spilled, they're full and they're being drank and they're being celebrated. Especially between these 2 women, this brunette woman and this blonde woman. So it's almost like this same person who's pretending to be so distraught is, like, pretending to be distraught because, like, this lie that was told was, like, we were somehow victimized, when in reality, that not only were they not victimized, but they're actually celebrating whatever this harvest is, whatever this lie has brought a harvest, and they're celebrating that. It's not, they're not in desperate or disparaging, despair. They're not in despair. They're not feeling a sense of loss. They're under the scenes, behind the scenes. They're celebrating. I'm also seeing, like, okay, because then the way that I have it set up, the 3 of Cups is actually in between the 2 oracles. The other oracle that I have is humidity in the reverse. And in my moisture reading, that card kept standing for being in your own lane. And so in this position right here, what I'm getting right now, especially right next to this lie, is like not being in your own lane, like maybe lying about like, okay, to be honest, the energy that I'm like, what I'm seeing is a story that I like keep hearing and keep seeing and feeling in my own life, which is that like somebody created a lie and that gossip spread and, you know, created this whole ecosystem. There's this whole thing built up around this lie. And this lie was that like somebody's been hurt, that something's been broken, that something's been lost, when in reality, that's a lie. That's part of the lie. What's actually happening is that there's a celebration that people are being, like they almost are feeling like rewarded because they've had this harvest based on this, because of this lie. And what they're celebrating too is like having stolen from someone. Essentially, that's what I'm seeing with the not being in your own lane. Like it was like having stolen from someone, and that can I get one more under humidity? The moon in the upright. So it could have been done on a moon cycle. I mean, you see three women celebrating together. Women tend to be witches. Not all the time. They're not always witches. But this energy, like women that are celebrating, lying and cheating and stealing, and like, yeah, that those are the same type of women that might be trying to do dark stuff underneath the moon, for sure. But I don't usually see the moon that way. That's just a feeling that I got because it's next to the Three of Cups. The moon I normally see as emotions, intuition. You have a dog and a coyote or a wolf howling at the moon. You also have a lobster coming up and like waving its claws at the moon. And I think that that's in part, like there's a lot of not waves necessarily around it, but there's ripples around it, and that might be in part just because the moon affects the tide. So that might be a reflection of that. That maybe, I don't know much about lobsters, but maybe when the moon is full, or when the tide is low, you know, bottom feeding crustaceans like that are more visible or something. Under this humidity, the moon, things being affected by cycles, things being affected by the tide, things being affected by light in the darkness. And then the card that I have, I might have to get back to the moon. The card that I have clarifying humidity is this Queen of Swords, which is like the truth. The Queen of Swords is the one that like can knight a person. Her sword isn't necessarily for battle, it's more for justice. Where you know, the King of Swords would be, you know, hard battled. You know, but the Queen of Swords she has butterflies. She has butterflies on her throne, and she's holding her hand out almost like she's trying to knight someone. tide. Okay, so because of the Queen of Swords where she's at, I just said like she's trying to knight someone. She's pointed here at this humidity card, right? In the reverse. And then if you see like the stream here is right under the moon. So it's almost giving me like these streams are connected. Okay. So what I'm getting from that is that she's trying to knight this goldfish, this koi fish that's in its own lane. The one that got robbed, essentially, right? These women are celebrating an abundance off of this person that they stole from. And what they stole was the knighthood, the inheritance that this Queen of Swords had for them, for this fish. So, I mean, it very likely could be that they, using the moon somehow stole. The moon has something to do with, like, their stealing of this person. And maybe even when I say that, like, maybe it even had something to do with, like, the lie that they told about this person. And how they, like, this person is unstable in their emotions. And that's why they don't deserve this and we do. But it is a lie. And it's funny enough, right? Like, it's funny that, like, the way that they're trying to, the main person, at least, that told this lie is trying to portray this is as if they're a victim, an emotional victim of this person's emotional instability. But, like, really, this person is the one being emotionally unstable. Also, there's 2 dogs and a lobster here, which, like, that are, like, part of this stream that this fish is in. And, like, I'm seeing that, well, my 2 dogs, like, so, like, I mean, if this isn't just a personal reading, like, for you, like, maybe you have 2 dependents, 2 children, or 2 companions, 2 close friends, something like that, that were close to you, but then a lie was told that kind of moved them in a different direction or took them away from you somehow. Affected the relationship with them for sure. And then this crustacean, like the lobster, makes me think of the movie The Lobster, where it's talking about like soulmates essentially, or like a life mate. So maybe there was, somebody that had been set out to be with you. If you're the person in your own lane, if you're the person that's been robbed and lied about, that there was someone who maybe was going to pursue you, trying to make this commitment, courting you somehow, and this lie got in the way, or was attempting to change the tide, was attempting either to like keep them from getting to you, from having access, to keep you from being able to survive, essentially, and maybe to like send them in a different direction somehow, or keep them distracted. And like I'm seeing that with the 2 dogs too, or the dog and the coyote too. Like maybe there's 2 different animals somehow that are like signs of your protection. Sort of deal where like when they're around or when they're acting certain ways, it's a sign that that this story is unfolding a very specific way. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. And it doesn't have to be women. When I say women, it's just because that's in the card. It very easily could be men. And it doesn't just have to be three. Three just happens to be a symbol of celebration, of cycles in that way. It could just be people in general. But it's kind of the idea of a group. Okay, so I have this inheritance, moon. Okay, can I get some more about, hold on. Can I get some more about how this person who told this lie is behaving? What this, like the fruit of this lie? Well, we see the core of it was for these people to be able to celebrate. To take what had been perceived as a negativity and to turn it around into a positivity. So like these people did somehow feel victimized or hurt by this person that they ended up robbing from. And maybe that in of itself became like why this lie was so easy to believe. But ultimately, like, no, they're pretending to be distraught, even though they're not. What else? Oh my gosh. Well, we have the Emperor and we have the Nine of Pentacles in the upright. So they're sitting quite comfortably, and almost like the Emperor, it can be kind of cold, like not necessarily terribly empathetic. Not even that it's necessarily unjustified always, but they're hardened. They tend to be wise. They tend to be very controlling, though. Very stern, and not necessarily so generous or compassionate, necessarily. It really depends, because sometimes the Emperor is all of the things all combined. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe this person, you know, through this, like, they're finally feeling the ways they always wanted to feel. They're having it all. They're experiencing it all. You know, the Nine of Pentacles is a sign of abundance, is a sign of, you know, it's almost like we have that down at the bottom in the Three of Cups, and they're celebrating a harvest, but this person is also celebrating a harvest. They're in a vineyard. And it's like almost at like the peak time of being able to get this wine. And yeah, they seem to be quite comfortable. We have these two cards that came face down. But I feel like this is more about how this person is feeling. And to take them on top of those cards. So with the Emperor, we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So it's like, yeah, like instead of being empathetic and compassionate, this person is like not being generous with what they stole, or like, yeah, there's just this sense of not just greediness, of like I just keep hearing like that it's like the opposite of giving is like taking. So it's just like more validation of having taken. Maybe it's because of my personal understanding of the message that I kind of called it for what it was. And this is just the validation that it is. Like, yeah, there's a specific, it's something, it's not just something spiritual, like this inheritance, this knighthood that was trying to be given to this fish person, a water sign, probably, potentially, at least, rather, that, maybe like a Capricorn or something as well, that it wasn't just a spiritual inheritance, it wasn't just like a knighthood, like, I dub you this thing, and now you're this thing, and it's like just words or just a title. It's like there was some sort of physical abundance, there was some sort of actual tangible wealth that has been taken, or that whatever was taken, there was some sort of tangible wealth that was supposed to be given because of the lies that were told, or because of this robbing, whatever this was, and that isn't being given. On top of the Nine of Pentacles is the Fool in reverse. Just like it was not just, it didn't just happen because like, oh, I was just, this all just happened on accident. I didn't notice that I didn't give it to them, or, you know, like it's not something excusable like that. It wasn't something that just happened. It was done quite intentionally. And interestingly enough, like what I'm seeing, I don't know if you can see it, on this guy's robe, there's these little circles, like on the design in his robe, and they actually have that chaos symbol, the initial cross one, right, that I drew. Sorry. I mean, so one thing I'm getting out of that is strategy, but I'm also getting like, it was a strategy to steal, that there's like a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of aspects to it. It's likely how it became so hard to kind of like read through, so hard for people to gauge as a lie. Like I said, there's other aspects of it because it was very believable, but like this is part of it too. It's not only were the core aspects of it believable, but there's also so many things that happened because of it that like it became like its own thing. Like this was like a very specific strategy that it created a lot of confusion, just a lot of gossip. Sorry, I'm getting sleepy. So what of it? Can I know more about what it was this Queen of Swords was trying to give this person? This fish person? The 9, right? Yeah, the 9 of Wands in the reverse. Which, like, in the upright is, like, feeling kind of suspicious, feeling kind of like, it's like wounded warrior energy. It's feeling like cautious, feeling like one has to be on the defense, but it's not just like, I think it's not the 8 of Wands. It's not like the 7 of Wands. 7? 6. It's either the 7 or the 6 of Wands, where the dude is on the defense. It's not exactly like that either. It's like this paranoia that one should have to be on the defense. But in the reverse, it's like, yeah, that I don't want you to have to feel like you have to be on the defense. I don't want you to feel like a wounded warrior. I'm trying to give you a blessing. Can I have any more about that? Sorry, I'm doing this backwards. Any more about that in regards to that? The 3 of Hearts in the reverse. In the upright, it's a sign of betrayal. So it's like, I don't want you to feel betrayed by your family. I don't want you to feel hurt. I say betrayed by your family. I'm specifically calling it family. This obviously is resonating with me personally. It may not be family for you. There is a specific group. They may or may not be related. They've likely known you or the person they are lying about, or the person that they've robbed, or the person that they're receiving these benefits from. They likely knew them for quite some time. And it's like, I mean, there was some sort of betrayal at some point, but the justice was supposed to be to kind of help heal from those things. Healing is what I'm getting out of these 2 cards being in the reverse, for sure. Because in the upright, they're both signs of receiving some type of pain, some type of hurt. So yeah, it was like a way to try to heal that. And even like, because the Queen of Swords has butterflies, you know, so it's like a transformation. Can I get one more about the moon, just for clarity's sake? Two of Cups in the reverse. So I am seeing that it was like a way to stop a union, or the hope here was to stop a union, was to break a family down, to break relationships down somehow, to stop things from being connected. Like I said, like the 2 dogs could be actual dogs. They could be some type of pet. They could be friends, companions of some sort. It could even be like jobs, or like a job that you had, or like a certain like career, like education that you had, or just a certain goal. It could be goals. The lobster, like I said, I see as like a specific romantic partner. But it could also be like one's own sense of self, one's own sense of security, one's own sense of like the identity attached to defense, like how somebody would normally defend themselves, or like trying to force somebody to feel like they have to defend themselves against a union, is to try to keep something separate for this person. Maybe even just keep the person separate from themselves in a way, right? Because like I said, there's a sense of like them lying about this person's emotional state. So maybe it was like a way to try to kind of like make this person crazy or like emotionally unstable. And that's where these cards are coming in. Over here off of the tree, like I am so sorry, the benefits of the tree. You know, what grew out of these lies. Maybe that wasn't always the intent, but that was like something that came of it. I think the whole intent, because it's at the top and right in the middle, I think the whole intent was just to be able to celebrate and kind of party together off of this person's inheritance. Which is a common thing that like energy vampires will do. It doesn't even have to be a material thing that they're robbing somebody of. They could just like, I mean, I like had dudes that, you know, rob me of my energy just so that they can like feel cool around other dudes, or like so that they can feel more attractive to other women. So it could be something like that, even, you know, that kind of idea. Okay, can I just have one? I want one card to kind of sum this up. Okay, but I don't think that's two cards. That's fine. Okay. And to sum this up, we have Fortitude and the Chariot, both in the upright. Chariot's real cool looking. Fortitude is the daughter of the flaming sword, and the Chariot is Lord of the triumph of light. So when I started this reading, I was talking about feeling this sense of celebration as the solstice comes in, and the winter solstice is a celebration of light. I'm pretty sure it's the birth of Mithras. And it's, I think that it's that the sun rises earlier. It goes away earlier, so I'm pretty sure that it's rising earlier too. But it's a celebration of light and of life in the death of things. There's a crab on this card. There's two sphinxes looking at each other. Yeah, there could have been some type of cancer or Scorpio. This could, it doesn't necessarily have to be this, but if it resonates for you, this is just extra validation. But there could have been a Cancer or a Scorpio that were involved in coming up against you or whoever was robbed in this situation, or also like trying to come up against one of the companions or pets or whatever the dogs are standing for you. Could have been a union with a Leo, and there could have been a Cancer or a Scorpio that kind of try to involve themselves with this Leo. I'm getting a double confirmation about the Leo, because the daughter of the flaming sword is under the fish, and she literally has a lion not only next to her, but also on her shield. And she's raising a cup of fire, and it's almost like a Molotov cocktail that she's throwing at this chariot. The chariot is represented by Cancer, which I didn't realize. There could have been like a couple involved. Maybe a polygamist, like a polyamorous relationship, where there's like a main couple and then there's this Cancer that is in between them. Could be a different water sign, could be I'm feeling like Libra for some reason, between them, that it's like part of those things that was kind of doing all this work, almost like using them to accomplish this work. What I'm getting out of it too is that like it could, like, to stop, there could have been a lot of people involved, really. With this Cancer energy specifically, I'm getting like that they were working to put an end to forward movement of this fish person. Which, like I said, it could be Pisces, it could be Capricorn, if those things are resonating with you. Could be somebody born in the year of the dragon. Random. Just like the lobster could, this person, like the main person who was robbed, could have been involved with somebody born in the year of the dog, especially if they're a Leo. That's what we're talking about. If you can think of that type of thing. I don't know what years those would be. I can't look offhand, so it just have to resonate for you. There's the two towers, and then just a couple cards away is this black cloak. And every time I see the 5 of Cups card, it makes me think of Luke Skywalker when he was like in Vader mode, whenever that was, but when he was like wearing that black robe. And then the two towers reminds me of Lord of the Rings. For the nerds out there, I love Lord of the Rings, especially. I only watched Star Wars once, to be honest. I wasn't allowed to watch it growing up. It's heard a weird thing outside. Um, yeah, super random. And with that, I just got, I never even watched this show. What was that called? Doctor Who. Doctor Who just came, so that's a confirmation for somebody, because I never even watched it. I've heard it's great, but I never watched it. Yeah, I'm getting weird channelings right now. Anything else? I mean, this could be this could have been going on over the course of a very long time, and it could have really been like affecting a lot of different things over time. This one singular lie really took on a life of its own. But ultimately, in the end, what I'm seeing is that, like, despite somebody trying to put a stop to this person's forward movement or this person's abundance, this person's love connections, their family connections, their mental health, their security, their all of those things, even their physical wealth, their tangible wealth, that the daughter of the flaming sword, fortitude, is prevailing against them with these Molotov cocktails, with this passion, and strength. Beauty. I mean, it is represented by the Leo card. It's by Leo, so that's like beauty, sociability, lightheartedness, fun-lovingness. Those things are really putting a damper on these plans. At the same time, those have been things that have been used to validate this lie, or like help. Those are the things that have helped out this lie being believed by so many. But I feel justice prevailing somehow, even despite these celebrations on this other person's behalf. I feel like I see this person prevailing ultimately. Turning it around somehow, where they do receive these things, and they're the ones that get to celebrate. But I guess maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. I'm not getting how that happens. I'm getting that it's not the time to know right now. It's the time to trust right now and just to do what one is doing, because things are falling into place, and it's just a matter of time. You know, just like back in the moist reading, like when you're traveling down the stream, you just have to you have to be in the moment, and you have to do whatever the stream requires at the moment, and you can trust that if you survive that river long enough, that eventually it's going to lead you out to sea, to the, greater bodies of water. And it's there where you'll be able to thrive. However, there's a blockage here that way, because the lobster is right in the way. The moon, so they're still trying it. they're somehow still trying it. There's still this point of conflict. It's just in my heart, in my faith, that things are going to turn around. But I'll tell you what, that served me my entire life extremely well. So I don't know why I would stop now. My faith has always served me and kept me. And yeah, I don't see it stopping anytime soon, to be honest. I see people trying to stop it, even more and more and more, and they get more subtle about it. There's different times, and like this past time I started to feel it, like, was weird, very weird, because it was kind of nostalgic of like this feeling. Oh, it was such a clever little trick that had been pulled to put me into. I'd cleaned a room. I'm a maid right now, and I had cleaned a room that looked just like my room when I was 15 and 16. My stepdad had painted my room for me. He told me that I could design it myself, and I decided that I wanted. My grandma Pat had given me a blanket for my 13th birthday. It was this quilt that she found, and she just thought it really reminded her of me, because it was very colorful. It just had all these stripes, these little stripes, but they were like all the rainbow colors of the rainbow, and she just thought of me when she saw it, and she got it for me. And I think I just, like, I remember, like, it wasn't even, I liked the quilt just fine, but, like, it wasn't even like I loved the quilt so much. I loved the thought behind it. I loved that my grandma, she was so happy about it, and she just knew that I would love it. And I loved that she loved me, and that she gave it to me because I would love it, and I did love it. And so I wanted to paint my room around it, and so I kind of came up with this idea, and I ended up really loving the way that the room was too. But my stepdad painted it that way. He painted stripes, or these, not horizontal, diagonal stripes, that were pink, like a hot pink, lime green, yellow, and orange, I believe. And there was also like a turquoise blue that wasn't on the wall, but that was like part of my color scheme. And yeah, my whole room was just like that, those colors for a minute. And I was cleaning this room the other day in a house that yeah, the room reminded me of my room when I was 15 or 16, and it was funny because then this woman who I was cleaning for, her daughter came to help her move things around in the house. And I overheard her daughter being like, I'm a 35-year-old woman, you know, I can make these decisions for myself or whatever, something like that. I don't know, but I heard her say that she was a 35-year-old woman, and I was like, that's funny, I'm a 35-year-old woman. And so like I had mentioned to them later, both of them, like where I was like, I love the room upstairs. It reminds me of my room when I was 15 or 16. It was painted almost exactly the same way. And the girl was like, that's so funny because that's my room, and I painted it like that back when I was like 15 or 16. And it was weird because the mom had a photo of her and her siblings that was taken probably in the late 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, probably like the mid-90s. My mom has the same photo of her and her siblings, like the same photo, like it looked like it was taken, and no, this is in Texas, it felt like I was back in Wisconsin. This photo looked like it was taken, like, at the same place. They were dressed even similar, like, and it must have just been the thing to do at that period of time, and her mom, she was my age, so her mom's probably around my mom's age, but it's strange, that was strange to me too. It just, yeah, these vibes that way. And then I remember later that night having this feeling of like, where it was like even part of my meditations, where it was like this attempt to get me in a nostalgic energy in order to destiny swap, in order to take advantage. And it hit me some type of way. It really did. And I don't even know how to explain it. It seemed so, like, not personal, truly. Even though I know that the attempt was for it to be, it didn't feel that way. But I digress. It hit me, and I let it, and I felt through it. And honestly, now it makes me even stronger, because, like, that was the crazy thing about it, too. Normally, I'd be, like, so deflective to receive those things, because it's like, no, I can't receive that. No, I gotta stay positive despite it. But, like, this time I learned that, like, oh, I can literally even just take it, and it's not gonna... Okay, so I feel away for a minute. Like, it's like getting a bruise. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, okay, yeah, you got me. It's not gonna stop me, but, like, you know, if your toddler, like, hits you and, like slaps you in the face or something, where it's like, it might hurt, but it's not, like, significant. You know what I mean? To them, it felt like it'd be significant. And, like, it almost feels significant at first, because it's like, oh my God, my kid just hit me. You know, like that feeling. But then it's like, well, yeah, but they're fucking 5. So, you know, I don't know. There's just this weird energy that way. But it taught me that, like, I don't even have to be so afraid of those things. Like, even if they do get to me to some degree, it's only for a time, and I make it out better and stronger at the end. I always know that, and I always rely on that, but, like, every time I go through the experiences, I have to, like, re-experience that. I don't know. Still, that was a weird reading. I don't know exactly who it was all for. I took a lot of personal stuff from it, but there was a lot of different random stuff that was also not terribly personal. So if it resonated with you, if it did actually resonate with you, yeah, justice is coming. Justice is on its way. Just be patient. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Especially for this week, you know. Don't worry about where it's leading. Don't worry about, like, what's happening. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. You know, it's kind of like, I've talked about this before too, but, like, if you're going, like, 60 miles an hour and there's, like, a really big hill, as you're coming up to the crest of the hill, you can't see the road on the other side. And when you're going 60 miles an hour, like, you come up to that precipice real quick, and then you're over it. And you kind of almost just subconsciously have to trust that the road is on the other side, even if you can't see it. So it's kind of that idea where it's like, just trust that the road is on the other side. It'd be crazier not to at this point. Where's the road gonna go? It has to go somewhere. It's not just gonna, like, stop right at the part of the hill. You know what I mean? Like, every once in a while, you gotta be careful on hills, because every once in a while it might turn a little bit where you can't see it. But, like, generally speaking, like, there's still a road directly after that hill. So just embrace that. Keep moving forward. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, if this didn't resonate with you right now, but you continue to watch it, then prepare yourself to know that, you know, there's justice coming for you. There's karma coming for those who have been against you. And, yeah, that's all I got. I guess I'll see you in the next one. All right.